Joining me in studio is Joshua Collins. He is running for Congress in Washington's 10th district, and he has a fascinating story. Joshua, welcome to the program. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So, what is your current job?
I'm a truck driver.
Okay, and you're running for Congress.
Yes.
Okay. Did you? I'm curious. I don't know, and Anyway, let me just ask it. Did you go and talk to anyone in the Democratic Party about running in this for this seat?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
Because I would have loved if you had. Now you're running against the Democratic incumbents, so they weren't going to listen to you anyway.
Right.
But I'd love the idea of you walking into a DCCC office and being like, "Oh, hi, I'm a truck driver. I'd like to run for Congress."
Right.
You have no idea how quickly you'd be removed from the premises. Anyway, so you are running against a Democrat, not a Republican.
Denny Heck. I mean, he's supposed to be a Democrat.
So, all right, before I get to Denny Heck, what in the heck, sorry, had to do it, made you want to run for Congress?
Well, Dennis Heck is a multimillionaire, and he has been pushed.
You already said he's in Congress.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
So he's been pushed on every issue, the Green New Deal, Medicare for all, just ending the wars, et cetera. And this guy still refuses to move. And when he was pressed on Medicare for all in this last election, he said he will never support Medicare for all. So there's no pushing him. There's no way that we can try to, influence him to the left. We have to get him out. Otherwise, he's going to be just another Republican with a D by his name.
So Joshua, I am curious. I don't know much about the 10th district. Mm-hmm. How blue, red, or purple is it?
Well, he won about 60% of the vote last time, a bit more than 60% of the vote.
So that's very blue.
Very blue district, yes.
Yeah. So in a very blue district, you have a congressman who said, "I promise you, I will never do Medicare for all."
Yeah, and he also, of course, takes money from everyone who stands to profit from maintaining this system. So.
Are you telling me he takes corporate donations?
Yeah, no, he takes money from every corporation you can think of. His top donors are from the military-industrial complex, but he gets some from the banks, the insurance companies, the real estate investment industry, and there's the private prison industry, the fossil fuel industry, and of course he votes like they're funding his campaign.
Now I'll play the role of a CNN anchor. Are you suggesting that if he takes money from those industries, that he serves those industries?
Yeah, I am. I think if you're going to take money from large corporations, your word is meaningless to me. For you to go and take money from the people who are causing all the problems in our country, or the entities, and then say that you care about our issues while you're not doing anything about them, it's bullcrap to me. You can't possibly represent them and us at the same time, because they want to destroy our environment, deny us health care, and do everything they can to increase their profits, while we need to go the opposite way and do things like a Green New Deal, get Medicare for all, and end the wars.
So Joshua, how old are you?
I'm 25.
So, but come on, what are the chances that someone in their 20s could unseat a Democratic incumbent, a powerful Democratic incumbent? I mean, when has that happened before?
Pretty recently, I would say. And in a few miles north of my district, Sarah Smith actually ran, and she got past the primary. Her opponent was also a Democrat, a bit less conservative than the one I'm running against, and so we're trying to get this guy out because he's not only weak on the issues we care about, but he's actually actively against them.
Yeah. So Sarah Smith was a wonderful Justice Democrat, and no one thought she could make the runoff in Washington. It doesn't matter which party you're in. The top two vote getters go to the general election, and everybody thought that Adam Smith was going to go to the runoff against a Republican, but Sarah Smith surprised everyone and got into the runoff. Now there she was overpowered by Adam Smith's money, et cetera. But of course I was making a reference to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, another Justice Democrat who beat one of the most powerful Democrats in the country at the age of 28. Yeah. And so of course it's possible. And if you watch Knock Down the House, the movie about her on Netflix, you see she was working as a bartender while she was running for Congress, and you're working as a truck driver while running for Congress. So I don't know, maybe it'll let you drive all around your district. That's probably not what they're paying you for, but still.
Right.
It does give you insight to the working class. But look, if you'd run 4 years ago, Joshua, I'd have said, look, I love your brother, but probably not much of a chance, right?
Yeah.
But this day and age, you never know, man. I could see people start voting against the Democratic incumbents in primaries just as a matter of course. Because almost all of them take corporate PAC money. You know the ones that don't.
And I have a strategy. We are told that the way to get independents and conservatives to vote for a Democrat is by being pro-corporate. But I think the actual way to do it is by representing them and going out and fighting for the things that they actually need. So that's my plan, is to genuinely represent the working class in my district. Truck drivers are one of the most common jobs in my district, and in 23 states across the country, there's over almost 4 million truck drivers in this country, and then 6 million jobs attached to the industry. And we're facing automation, other jobs are also facing automation, and there is no one talking about it. Instead, we are, and we're also not even talking about transitioning to green energy when we should be. Instead of doing that, we're focusing on, ramping up wars and maybe getting involved in Venezuela and Iran. In my generation, I was a child when 9/11 happened, and my grandchildren are still going to be paying for the Iraq War and Afghanistan War. So, and we're talking about more war. So that's why I think we need new people in Congress that will oppose things like that, irresponsible and inhumane policies and actions, and actually be vocal about the things that most Americans recognize as being bad for our country.
So Joshua, man, that's stunning. You were 7 years old when 9/11 happened, and we're still in Afghanistan.
Yep.
That's crazy. You could go into Congress and vote to get us out of Afghanistan. When we went in when you were 7.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. We talked about how the Russians spent too much time in Afghanistan and it bankrupted their empire. It was a fraction of this amount of time.
Right.
So, and you have a really interesting proposal about both work and the military, which I want to get to in a second. But I really like what you're saying. I want to make sure that everybody sees the links that we have. So not just his website, joshua2020.com, but you could donate through CrowdPack, and you see the link there, crowdpack.com/Joshua4Washington, that's the number, and volunteering is through the website as well. And we always have the links down below if you're watching this later on YouTube or Facebook. And so soldier pay, it's easy to funnel money to Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, and defense contractors. What's your proposal for soldier pay?
Well, the military-industrial complex is one of the top donors to my opponent, and he never talks about the fact that people go into the military for financial reasons. We have polling on this, and it's a large majority of people go in the military, because they need health care and education or a decent job. And what we do is, we prey on the poor and get them into the military with that, but we're not even paying them a decent wage. 90% of our military budget goes towards everything but personnel expenditures. So only 10% of the budget actually goes to the people in the military. And I'm proposing that instead of paying them a starting pay of less than $19,000 a year, we double that and bring all of the troops home to put them to work under the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, repairing our infrastructure, getting rid of our water systems that are contaminated, and preparing our infrastructure for green energy. We need to transition from this war economy to a peace economy, and otherwise we're going to end up, collapsing our entire country and blowing up the world.
So Joshua, I love a lot of that proposal, but especially the pay part. And if you think about it, if we lived in a democracy, it'd be a bit of a no-brainer.
Right.
So people keep putting the ribbons on their cars about support the troops. Well, nothing would support the troops more than increasing their pay by 50%.
Right.
Yet none of the Republicans or the Democrats like Denny Heck, who take a ton of money from defense contractors, are in favor of that proposal.
Right.
They've increased the budget now to what, over $700 billion a year for the Pentagon, but yet they can't find money for the actual troops that start with under $19,000.
Yeah.
No, it's never been about supporting the troops. So all these congressmen are lying Yes, they are deeply corrupt. They take money from defense contractors, and then they take your hard-earned tax dollars and funnel them to those same defense contractors, and oftentimes start bloody wars in the meanwhile to support them.
Right, and that's why they're gonna laugh when I say that we should double military wages. When if we double 19,000, you're only paying them 38,000, which is barely even a middle class wage. And the reason is because they're not paid to care about the troops. They're paid to care about Raytheon and Boeing and all these other military industrial complex corporations who owe no loyalty to us and dodge taxes in any way they can. So when I say something like we should increase the pay of people in the military, they're gonna clutch their pearls and say, no, that's bomb money. So
Joshua, is there any show that you watch to get these kind of radical ideas from?
Well, I started watching TYT when I was a kid. I was like 15. I remember a lot of the goofy jokes you and Ben and Annie used to make.
So you really are a TYT watcher.
Yeah.
Not because of the decade you put in, but because I make goofy jokes. That's 100% true. Listen, Godspeed to you, Joshua. And I love that you're taking action and getting involved in our democracy. And that's exactly what's going to save our democracy. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. And we're trying to raise money to get a treasurer right now. I'm working 16, 70 hours a week while also running the campaign. And we want to get someone on staff who can handle the finances, so I'm not doing everything. So if you guys can go to joshua2020.com and donate, we're trying to get to $10,000 so we can kind of have me spending more time campaigning and less time dealing with paperwork. So.
And by the way, upstart candidates like Joshua were outspent 20-1 consistently in races last time around, and as you know, some of them won anyway. And the small dollar donations, what does it go to? It goes to organizing staff and volunteers. So not only treasurer, but you need a field director, you need a campaign manager, otherwise you can't run the campaign, especially if you're driving for a living, right? So that's why they need your help, Joshua and all of the other candidates challenging the power establishment in Washington that's been screwing us all. Thank you for taking on that fight, Joshua. Appreciate it.